Believe it or not, the subject of today's video somehow went from a star high school volleyball player to an emerging young player at the NFL tight end position. Mike Gesicki broke out over the past few weeks and has emerged as one of the best young tight ends in the NFL and seems to have a nice connection with young quarterback Tua Tagovailoa. Sadly, he may have dislocated his shoulder this past weekend and his season may be over. But today, I want to talk about how Mike became a young star in the NFL, his crazy athletic journey to becoming a star player at Penn State, and why he may have the potential to be the next great tight end in the NFL. But first, I need your help to reach 25,000 subscribers by the end of December, so be sure to subscribe to the channel, like this video, share it with your friends, comment your thoughts, suggest what player I should do next, and stay until the end. Recently, my NFL player journey videos have not been doing well, so if you want me to do more of them, please be sure to hit that like button and comment your thoughts. Now let's get started and talk about the incredible rise of Mike Gesicki. Before Mike Gesicki became one of the best tight ends in Penn State football history and a young star for the Dolphins, he was just a young kid growing up in New Jersey. More specifically, his family grew up near the Jersey Shore in a town called Stafford Township, and he was an absolute athlete from the very beginning. His sisters were volleyball players from a young age, and Mike actually took a liking to the sport. By the time he was in 8th grade, he was already over 6 foot tall, and every coach at his high school wanted to get him on their team. He originally wanted to run track, but he eventually played basketball, football, and volleyball. He became the best volleyball player in the state, actually, and set a school record for total basketball points in a career. Believe it or not, the first time he had ever heard from Penn State was actually from their volleyball coach, but pretty soon football was going to be opening a lot of doors for him. He was also being recruited to play basketball for Bucknell, and what could this man not do? Gesicki had quite a receiving resume at Southern High School, as he amassed 1,817 yards on 103 catches and became the team's all-time leading wide receiver. This kid was a high school legend. He was recruited as both a wide receiver and a tight end, but at 6'5" and 236 pounds, he would better translate to a tight end rather than an outside receiver. He'd later become a big-time recruit based on his potential, and he'd have some pretty good choices of schools to play at. He'd visited Penn State a lot, and also had offers from schools such as Ohio State, Florida State, Miami, Wisconsin, and Notre Dame. These schools all produce high-level tight ends. So why did he choose Happy Valley despite the obvious fact that they are close to home? He just loved the school. He visited during that one game where they defeated Michigan in 4 overtimes, and Hackenberg had that one dime to Allen Robinson in the final seconds, and that's when Mike knew he wanted to be a Nittany Lion. He said, quote, "That visit fortified my mind, and I wanted to go to Penn State." The tight end who helped him visit said, quote, "He was fun to hang out with, and the guys on the team loved him." He committed to Penn State, and the rest is history. According to 24/7 Sports, Gesicki was one of the top tight ends in the country as he was a 4-star recruit, the number 6 tight end in his class, and a top 300 player in the class of 2014. When Mike arrived in Happy Valley, Bill O'Brien had left to take the head coaching job at the Texans, and Vanderbilt's James Franklin came in and was the new man. The transition did not come without embarrassment, as he didn't even know how to do one of the most basic moves for a tight end, the 3-point stance. He said, quote, "I didn't know anything personally about how to play tight end and the stance. I was kind of starting from scratch." He literally had to ask what to do. Because of the sanctions hit on the program, he did not get a chance to redshirt, as there weren't a ton of scholarship players, and he definitely could have used one. As a second-year tight end for the Lions in 2015, he had a rough year. He caught 13 passes and would have a chance to start at times, but he dropped a ton of passes and really struggled when it came to blocking. The Nittany Lions ended up going 7-6 that year and actually dropped their last 4 games of the season, including a 24-17 loss to Georgia in the Tax Slayer Bowl. So every time Mike catches a touchdown, he does a famous celebration where he basically acts like he pulls a train whistle. He said him and his teammates came up with this in practice because everyone was hopping off the Penn State train and everyone was hopping off the Mike Gesicki train, so every time he scores, he reminds them that the train's going well and that they can't join on. 2016 would be a big year for Gesicki as he caught 47 passes for 668 yards and 4 touchdowns. He helped Penn State win the Big Ten East, they beat Wisconsin in the Big Ten championship game, and he led them to the Rose Bowl where they lost a thriller to USC. He could have left for the NFL, but he knew he was going to have a big senior year. He would have arguably one of the best seasons of any tight end in Penn State football history, as he caught 57 passes for 563 yards and 9 touchdowns. They'd once again go 10-2 in the regular season, and they ended up beating Washington in the Fiesta Bowl. He became arguably the best tight end in Happy Valley history, and he was seen as a Day 2 NFL draft pick. He finished his Penn State career with 1,481 yards and 15 touchdowns and proved all the doubters wrong. He ended up getting drafted by the Miami Dolphins with the 42nd overall pick in the 2nd round of the 2018 NFL Draft. Some people were skeptical that he could be a big-time NFL player, and that he really wasn't worthy of that high of a pick. especially for Dolphins fans who wanted talent at other places. They had some legitimacy to those claims, as in his first 2 years, things did not go well. He struggled to adjust to the NFL game, and he looked lost on the field at times. He had one game where he caught 4 passes, but it barely went for any yards. He caught a pass or 2 in most games, but never had over 50 receiving yards and failed to catch a touchdown in his first year. Expectations rose going into his second year, but the franchise was kind of dysfunctional as they were going to be in their first year under head coach Brian Flores. He didn't score touchdowns still through his first 9 weeks, and he just didn't look very good. But he then scored his first 2 career touchdowns against the Eagles and the Browns. He caught 2 touchdowns against the Bengals in a double overtime thriller, and finished the year with a touchdown pass against the New England Patriots. He finished the year strong and had a strong second season with 51 catches for 570 yards and 5 touchdowns. Going into 2020, he had a lot of buzz, but who was going to be the quarterback? It was Fitzpatrick for a while, but then Tua came in eventually, and I like him moving forwards. He started out the season kind of slow, but was a reliable 3rd or 4th option for the team. But then starting in late November, he put it all together and broke out. He caught a touchdown against the Jets, another one versus the Bengals, and had a huge 4th down conversion in that game. At this point, he was a reliable second option on the team and a legit end zone threat. This past weekend against the Chiefs, he caught 5 passes for 65 yards and 2 touchdowns, and had the best game of his career on the biggest stage, and it could have been a lot better. As sadly, he got injured in the second half, and it looks like he'll be out for the rest of the year. He had just started to break out, and it was right when Tua was starting to become more of a factor. The Dolphins have a bright future, and he is the second best weapon on the team besides Devontae Parker, and his role will only expand in the future. He is a legit touchdown threat, makes big catches, can do a little bit of everything, and just loves football. He reminds me of a player who's on the verge of breaking out, and I think he could become a complete star in 2021 with more practice and comfort in the offense and more talent around him. He's made a lot of circus catches this year and had this to say about it. There's nothing more I love than going out and making plays and catching the football. For me, every catch I make is like the game-winning touchdown in the Super Bowl. This guy just loves the game of football and he wants to be on the field, and he is proving to people that he was worthy of that 2nd round pick now. It's wild that this guy went from a volleyball player to a tight end who didn't even know how to do one of the most basic things, to a player who broke out at Penn State, was told he wasn't worthy of a 2nd round pick, and is now seemingly broken out and has a lot of potential with the Dolphins. And if you're a Dolphins fan, let me know what you think of Gesicki down in the comment section, as I think he's going to be a really good player in the future. Let me know another NFL player I should take a look at their journey for, and if you want this kind of video to do well and for me to do more of them on my channel, be sure to hit that like button and drop your thoughts in the comment section. Check out my other video about the current Penn State tight end Pat Freiermuth, and until next time, peace.